Welcome to the Ranagade Show, powered by Shine and Jam. We are live from Hollywood, right underneath the Hollywood sign. And, per usual, I'm going to give you my Rana-isms, my Ranalysis, if you will. So, hot topics, things are going on in the world. And I have lots and lots of opinions on things. So, here we go. What we got? What we got today on the menu? What's been going on in the world that you want my take on? I think, all right, so right now in the world, we're seeing AI take people's voices and beats and, just through all of that artificial shit, making somebody sing somebody else's song, different things like that. So I think I'd like to answer this in two different ways. First of all, we got way too much time to play on the computer. Okay? At some point, we stopped building the world and we started to remake the world that we built in the computer, which is funny vibes, right? Because you're no longer doing things here. You're saying, well, what do we do here? And let me digitally recreate it through zeros and ones and codes. The other part of it that's funny to me is you're talking about what's actually wrong with the world right now that we live in when it comes to art and music. You don't have direct access to nothing. The last time somebody went around with a trunk was Mike Jones, right? Like, he really went around. Well, I mean, I'm sure other people have done it since, right? But the last time you heard an actual, got it out the mud story or, the No Limit blueprint of we ship the shit ourselves. We don't need the distributors. We actually do this stuff ourselves. Or you have the artists that come from the world of actually performing their music in your face. So physically handing you stuff. You actually having to go see that person's body performing that for you. And then, when you have your fallen heroes of music as well who are no longer here with us. So now you go and physically you buy their records and then you close your eyes and you picture Michael singing it or you picture, whoever singing it, huh? You picture Tupac singing that shit, right? But I don't even want to see hologram Tupac in concert. You wildin'. I don't want to see no fake version of nothing. But the problem now is, so now Drake's mad because they done took his voice and had him singing Ice Spice. Okay, that's kind of funny. It is. But at the same time, do we not, the problem isn't so much people having fun with face recognition shit or voice over thing. That's not the problem. The problem isn't people are having fun. The problem is people don't realize what the difference between stuff is anymore. So now there's no line between actual reality and then fugazi made upville in the metaverse. The metaverse is a fun place for you to go, but it should be treated as an attraction. The world is not Disneyland. So when you go to Disneyland and a bunch of goofies come out, it's somebody in a costume. That man's got to go home later. That's a person in there pretending to be someone for someone's imagination, depending on how big your imagination is. The computer is meant for your imagination. It's not meant for you to be like, this is really what's going on out here. So until you see Drake actually physically do it himself, go to his concert. You want to see Ranagade, come see Ranagade. But if you see this and it's somebody else talking, you now listen, I hope you're using your imagination here and you're not actually thinking this is real life. Because real life don't look like that. So I think that's the problem. I don't think it's AIs just necessarily doing shit, because I don't think it's bad to have tools, but at the same time, you guys are bugging. Why are you making it so smart? How lazy are you? You're just wiping yourself out. But here's the funny thing. Recently, I just had the whole conversation where I can't get wiped out. AI can't roll a blunt like me. AI can't think like I do. AI isn't going to have that people skill where now you're talking to someone and you know how to rub people the right way or, make a connection with people. Those connections, those actual in-life moments where it's, frequency next to frequency, and now you got to mesh y'all shit together and make a nice song so it doesn't sound crazy. That's when it gets funny. You know what I mean?
Do you think corporate is trying to inspire?
No, I think the artist is already tapped out. I don't even think big corporate understands what's going on. I don't think I'm sure big corporate, if they realized a way to eat off of all the AI stuff, if they could create a channel for it, where now they could get artists to agree to be created into these avatars, where now you have that show, what's dude's name, who makes his guests sing a song like another singer, Jimmy Fallon or something, I think is his name, the Jimmy guy, right? He has a show. I've seen little clips of it online where he'll have Alicia Keys sang some song like another song, whatever. But that's just your mind being able to do it. So now if you're doing it for entertainment and everyone now has agreed that this is an entertaining situation and that's it, that's fine. But you can't take away from the fact of what you like. You like Ice Spice's voice, so go see Ice Spice. You like Pop Smoke. Don't take his voice and make something else out of it and make me a Kanye song that sounds like so. I don't think Big Corp is that slick. I think Big Corp comes in and finds slick shit and then makes money off of it. I think the people making the waves and the splashes are the poor people. Creativity comes out of oppression. Like happy people aren't doing stuff. You got to be crazy. That's why the crazy artist is a real thing. You know, it's funny too that I mentioned this whole happy thing because recently I was saying that I want happiness for all my friends. I want ultimately in my heart and in my soul, I do want comfort and happiness for my friends. But then sometimes I wonder, do I truly want that for my friends? Because when people become too happy and too comfortable, they stop pursuing their greatness. They stop pursuing what their mission is on earth. Like, you are here on a mission. Why are you comfortable? Why are you happy? Not truly joyful. Like, joyful is different. Like, I feel joy. I love my mother. I love my father. I love my grandparents. I love my dog. I love my kids. Oh, I love what I do every day for work. That's different. That's joy. But like people that are like, oh, everything is so good. No, it's not. What are you talking about? You got work to do. It's kids starving still. Okay, so now we're talking about what happens when somebody who's in a relationship decides to drastically change their appearance, right? So you know me, for sure. You know, I love a multi-layered answer because I think nothing is a simple, you know, it's a simple answer, but it's a few simple answers because the world is full of different scenarios, right? So I think it's a couple things. If you're dealing with somebody who expresses themselves through their look and now has chosen a new look, you don't get to say what their look should be. That's what they want to do. So if you deal with somebody who cuts their hair all the time or dyes their hair or has different hairstyles or just is like more adventurous with their looks, maybe wears, you know, whatever like trendy style comes around, like, you know, they wear more expressive, they're more expressive with their looks. That's one thing. If you're dealing with somebody who isn't like that and now overnight has taken on a new persona, I would dig into that a little bit. That doesn't mean harass them and say, what's wrong with you? That maybe look at yourself, say, what's wrong with me? That this person didn't consult with me or doesn't feel comfortable to talk to me like they would one of their friends or somebody more supportive to say, hey, yo, I'm thinking about chopping all my hair off. It would be so, I don't know, liberating. I don't like people that walk around trying to be pretty. I'm not a fan. So once again, like nobody should judge you on your looks because a lot of times people are held by their appearances and they cut those things off because they need the world to see them, not the things that they have adorned themselves with. And a lot of times people hide themselves with those things too. Like when you're younger and you don't realize like your power, you do a lot of things to get attention. And then when you realize that you are so perfectly made, and once the world starts staring at you, and now you realize like, oh, I'm good. Now you realize you didn't really even need all those cover-ups. All that little shit you did before was just some weird way to cover yourself up or to bring attraction to yourself when you don't realize like the bees just want your sweet essence. They're just coming for your little pollen. They don't care what, you know what I'm saying? They know what's going on. You don't gotta, like imagine these flowers right now were like, oh, I gotta dye my petals to attract these bees. That's not what's going on. But if the flower wanted to do it, it can for itself. I think things happen in really weird, trendy ways, and people get carried away with trends. I think the BBL movement was one of those times where we saw something that people were willing to spend money on, people taking advantage of, where people are like creating celebrity around it. Like Dr. Miami like thinks he's an actual like celebrity. You know what I'm saying? So you're gassing up these people that now are like taking advantage of people and their how they feel about themselves, when ultimately like not for nothing like men will sleep with a mattress, bro. Like boys don't care. Like not for nothing. If you think about like all the baddies of the world, like when you ask your guy friends like who they think is pretty, they'll name all types of girls. They'll name girls with not so big lips, not so big boobs, not so big butts, little butts, big butts. Some girls that are heavier set, some girls that are tiny. Like you'd be surprised at like what men find attractive if you actually like talk to men. But we've been told it's this one thing. And then also, pimps got the loudest voices, bro. They're running the whole shit. So now you got pimp mentality running the world, where it's like, nah, you got to be this and that and the third. Like, that's really not even what it is, right? Like, a real baddie is just a real baddie because you just bad, like, and everyone knows you're bad. Like, you could be thin, you could be thick, you gonna be bad. Like, Naomi Campbell's bad. Jill Scott's bad. They think Lizzo's bad. They think this girl's bad. They think all these girls are bad, like, because they think they're bad. And at the end of the day, somebody's for you. So that shit being out is just another trend being out. Like, at some point, like, thin eyebrows was in. And everybody overplucked they shit. And now you got all these girls stuck with these thin-ass eyebrows because they overplucked their eyebrows. And it sucks because everyone made it such a thing and your look had to be on point with everything. Or, bro, take that shit back. Take it back to China where they're wrapping the girls' feet up. Have you seen those pictures? Oh, my God. The foot, it's like they literally deformed their feet because at one point 100 years ago or so, it was attractive for women to have really, really small feet. So they would bind, it's foot binding. I don't know the exact word. But they wrap their foot up from the time you're little, and now your foot is like deformed. And these women suffer from like lifelong back problems and can't walk and are, why? Because somebody was like, oh, that's what men like. I don't give a fuck what you like. I don't care what you like. You know what I like? I like a bunch of shit too that you're not doing. I'll go outside all the time, but literally yesterday I was at a place, there was maybe like 10,000 people there. I literally did not see one man that I was like, wow, what a fine man. And now that brings me to this whole alpha thing, right? I just seen some bullshit today on the internet that was like alpha male treatment. Some goofy put this up, right? Some goofy man. And it was somebody putting a shirt on him, somebody dressing him, and then somebody like rubbing his feet. Like, that's not what that is, bro. Alpha literally means independent. Means I'm good. Means I got you. You don't need to got me. Like, I'm alpha for real. I don't need nobody to do none of that for me. Do I need a foot rub? Probably. I ain't had one in years since I've been to a foot reflexology place that rubbed my feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you get dressed on your own. People who are fighting to stay alive get dressed on their own. The dignity of a man is to be allowed to do something on his own. That's dignity. To allow me to live in a dignified fashion is to allow me to be able to do whatever I can, no matter where that stops for me. So if that's me pushing my wheelchair down the street, you let me push my own wheel. If I got it, let me got it. If I got it, let me got it. If I need your help, I'll ask for your help. But all that, like, I'm alpha male because XYZ, like, you're not alpha male because you have servants. You're, in fact, like a big, giant twat who, like, is a big baby. Like, you're the opposite of an alpha male. You're a child who needs to be mothered. That's, like, you're not popping because you got girls as your servants. And as an alpha female, you not popping if you got men as your servants. To be of servitude is to be alpha. That's alpha. Alpha is, I got it. My dad is an alpha male. My dad doesn't need you to do nothing for him. My dad's got you. He'll carry this stuff. He doesn't need you to carry his shit for him. He's putting on his own shirt. He's putting on his own pants. He's putting on his own socks. He's carrying everything to the car. Matter of fact, he's not only doing that, he's going to help you with your bags. He's going to help you with your homework. He's going to help you with your problem. He's going to help you with your whatever you're going through. That's alpha. You're not doing none of that if you got all these people doing shit for you. You're a punk. Ugh, make me sick. No, and that's the problem too, is I think people don't really realize what power looks like. Power has been disguised as you're just a loud, complaining, needy person. It's not power. Power is not being like a tiny, aggressive little man. No, you are big in your stature. I'm 5'1", but I stand 8'5". Alpha as fuck. I think whoever feels funny about theyself, we live in a world where you could fix it. What is it? If you could buy your hair if it don't grow, okay, you could do that. You could do that. You could do all of that. You could fix your hair, whatever. You could do all of that. Fix your teeth, fix your nose, fix your stomach, fix your whatever. But at the end of the day, you need to fix your mind first. First and foremost, you have to fix your mind, because when you fix your mind, you realize you have power. You can fix. You can work. Your body is moldable. Your body is able to be transformed. Your life is able to be transformed into whatever you need it to be transformed to. You just have to be willing to work on that every single day. So if you want to get your body done, do it. That's what's up. You're going to look great. You're going to feel good, but also there's a lot of risk attached to that. Like the same way you want to do a quick get rich scheme, okay, you might pop off and be rich. You also might end up in jail. You also might end up plastered all over your local news because you did some scheme to get money. So yeah, you could go under the knife, but that's actual complication. Like I just dealt with in my family an open heart surgery. Someone had one, and we dealt as a family. We dealt with that, and it was my dad. He did it wonderful. God bless. Everything's going really, really great. But the body's so fragile. You don't want that touched or cut open. You don't want that messed with. You don't want that harmed in any capacity. So for someone to even feel like they got to do X, Y, and Z for them to feel comfortable in the world, let's examine the world. Beholders, eyes, the beholders that we talked about before. You're the beholder. Like reassure the person in front of you that they're doing good. You know, that's why representation and shit like that matters. That's why like it was important for Barbara Streisand to be her. Do you know how many women of the world needed her to be up there with all her glory? Cher never got no work done. I mean, I don't know if she has it done now, but she looks great. I mean, back like these women represented different body types. Like Tina Turner was built athletic. She looked great. She wasn't like, curvy Marilyn Monroe-y style, but even Marilyn Monroe needed like all these, like you need it. You need to see it. You need to see the big. You need to see the little. You need to see the dark-skinned man. You need to see the light-skinned man. You need the albino represent. You need every single person to be shown at some point to where then everyone collectively as beholders goes, you're good, bro. You need all the flowers for somebody to stop and smell them. Don't just stop and smell the roses. Stop and smell the lilies. Stop and smell the jasmine. Stop and smell all the flowers. Even the ones that don't smell, realize that'll still give you fruit later. Like the cherry blossoms don't necessarily got a super pungent smell, but they about to give me some cherries. And then peach flowers, they're not super fragrant either, but they're about to be delicious. So whoever wants to do whatever, do it. But ultimately, whatever you do, don't try to stunt about it. Don't make other people feel a way about it. Don't. And then also remember, like everybody gets holla, depending on how confident they are. Big boys get holla too if they're confident. Heavy D was not lacking on the Mackin. These boys weren't, like Drewski. Drewski's doing good. Drewski's confident. I guarantee you Drewski gets plenty of holla. Plenty. What are we talking about? Right? Well, fame does a lot, but fame is attached to your confidence. If you also like people who, as they become famous, like the more, like the first video they put up, they be kind of like, and then once you see they got to, like I have friends of mine that I've seen this actually happen to. Like they didn't feel cute before. Now they done put out a couple videos, they were funny. Now when they post their videos, I mean, like you could just see a spark in their eye because now they know they're okay. Like once you know you're okay, you function different. You function completely differently. Now you don't feel so, you're like, oh, I'm good. Like that's why it's important to travel the world. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't have enough money. And then you go to another country and you go, damn, these people are doing great and they don't have nearly what I have back in America. Right? And now you go, damn, I need to appreciate what I have or take advantage of what I have. Vice versa, you could feel like you're popping and you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I'm not popping at all. I got hired to roll up in the Hamptons and like, you're like, okay, there's money in New York. And then you go to the Hamptons, you go, oh, these are, or like in LA, you see houses and then you come to the hills and you see some of these houses and you go, oh, in Bel Air, you see some of them cribs, you go, oh, nah. Okay, there's levels to Bel Air. There's levels to all of it. There's levels to the good and there's levels to the bad. And no matter, if you look up, you're going to feel down. And if you look down, you're going to feel up. It's like mad simple, bro. Like, look up at things above you and you're going to feel like, look at the sun. You're going to feel like a tiny little ant. Look at the ant. You're going to feel like the sun. I mean, maybe not the sun, but at least the moon. I think people are tripping off of simple things. I think this is like I think this really comes down to misguided or misdirected anger. Like the government's already got you. You got an Alexa in your house, TikTok is your least bit of worries. You got a Google Home, your least bit of worries. You got an Apple Watch on, you got any of these things, like least bit of worries. It's your least bit of worries. Like you've been given out your information. And then on top of that, I don't think they care about what's inside of your home. You know how China already knows what's in your home because everything in your home was made in China? Huh? What are we doing? Where does like the actual outrage, where does it need to be applied? It's being applied to the wrong things. You want to ban TikTok? Okay, bet. What does that do? Because people don't be wilding on Twitter? People don't be wilding on Instagram. People don't be wilding on Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook, those little Facebook groups you hear about, all those crazy stories in those groups. My God. No, like, I ban it. And then what? And then what? You still got all them kids addicted to all them opioids through your big pharma schemes. What are we talking about? What are you banning? Where does it begin or end? Banning doesn't do anything. The more you tell, and this has been proven over and over and again in other countries too, where banning don't do nothing, huh? Why? Because you ban these things and humans psychologically, now there's some of us who don't care what everyone's doing or not doing, or don't care if you're not allowed. It's like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna do it. So most people are like, what do you mean I'm not allowed? I'm after it, now I need it. Oh, these drugs are illegal, rampant drug use. There's countries that have just totally legalized everything. Their overdoses went down, the recreational uses numbers went down, because now people aren't like, when you think it's time for fun, you're like, what's sinister? Like, that's what you think is fun. So now all these things that have been labeled sinister, you go to those things. It's like, get rid of the whole sinister list. And now fun can just be fun. It doesn't have to be, I'm looking for something. That whole shit with like cannabis is the gateway drug. No, it's not. No, it's not. If anything, it's the one that failed you. Because in all the movies and all the shows you saw when as a kid, like, someone was buzzed, they're falling all over the place, they're slurring their words, they're having these funny, slapstick comedy moments where they're bumping into stuff or spilling whatever, just things you've seen in all the movies of people being under the influence of something. And then you smoke a joint and you're like, none of that happened. You just really kind of went into some deep thought. Maybe you thought about like, damn, I should have cleaned up my room. Or like, damn, I don't be listening to my parents. Or, man, I got that homework to or whatever as a teenager. That's what you really think. And it wasn't even nothing sinister came to mind. And then you were disappointed in what that gave you. So now you're like, oh, it's got to be something else that'll give me that. Okay, well, you found it with alcohol. You found it with the pills popping. You found it with those things. But like, for me, I wasn't looking to get loopy never as I smoked. I just had anxiety type shit, and like the smoking just kind of cured it. And I'm Middle Eastern, so I think it's kind of just built in my DNA to be a smoker, just naturally, I think, or genetically predisposed. Yeah, I just feel like right now we have a lot of influences coming in from the world. Like earlier, I was talking to someone who is going through a detox, a dopamine detox is what it was actually coined as. I was curious as to what that was, because emotions are so important. Like the releasing the dopamines and the serotonins and those things out of your brain are really, really important. They're actually responsible for bodily functions. And when your body stops producing some of these things, it can lead to certain diseases, i.e. Parkinson's is due to your brain not producing the dopamine anymore. So do you need to detox from certain shit? Yeah, for sure. I think anything that becomes an addictive substance to you that you feel yourself unable to function without, you absolutely got to cut it out, because we never know at what moment some meteor might land somewhere and now everything you knew is donezo and now you really got to figure that shit out. That's why I can't that's why I can't do drugs, because I can't be out for that many hours. Like, life is happening, so I can't be drunk. I can't be out. I need to be focused at all time, right? Like, I cannot risk, if something happened right now, not being able to jump into action at any given moment. For every single breath I take, I have to be present, because you never know what's going to happen. And at any given moment, you may need to play hero, doctor, you may need to play savior, you may need to play problem solver, you need to be a processor, you need to process the information, you need to figure out, you need to be an assessor. You have to assess the situation and come up with a proper solution at all times. And you can't do that when you're under the influence of stuff. So do you need to cut out addictions? Yes. Do you need to check why you're constantly on social media? Yeah, for sure. Because you're wilding. What are you looking for? Are you not done seeing what everybody else is doing? Are you learning about a particular thing? Are you like deep diving into a subject that you just learned about? Okay, do that. That's fine. But are you constantly watching someone else's life while not building your own? That's the problem. Like, I'm very IRL. So this right here is me attempting to become URL, I guess, right? But things happen IRL every single day, and you have to be present for that shit. And if you're not, and you're searching for it to happen in some digital land, you're never going to obtain things that are done molecularly around you. Like, things are happening around you. Like, right now, this tree is growing right now. Like, this guava tree is shedding its leaves from its last. And if you look closely, it's growing its new green leaves. It's all tiny, but it's growing. You might not realize it, but it's happening. You yourself are growing every single second of every single moment that you're out here. You're just growing. So as you're growing, be aware of that. And just like you prune a bonsai tree, prune yourself as you grow. So as you develop and as you get bigger, okay, you might need to chop a limb. Okay, this branch was going the wrong way. I need to get this together. Or you might need to support your branches. If your tree gets too top heavy, you might need to fix it. These things, you are growing constantly, right? So also that goes right into people being sad. It might be your season to not have your leaves. That does not mean you're not coming into bloom and fruition soon. It might just be winter for you. And you might not shed in winter. You might be resilient in winter. You might be the type of fruit that grows in winter. So in the summertime, while everybody else is blooming and blossoming, you look like you don't got nothing going on. That's not the case. You about to shit on them in the winter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can't, this is to say to all the kids and all the adults, anybody who's looking for stuff, you can't be fucking crazy off of everything that's gonna maybe potentially happen, because things are literally happening on you right now as you speak. Like, as you speak, your nail is growing. As you speak, your hair is growing. Or maybe it's not. Maybe your nose is always growing and your ears are forever growing. So those two are growing forever. There you go. We'll just talk about your nose and your ears. Them two motherfuckers is never gonna stop growing. So things are growing on you as we speak. So you can't constantly be looking for other places that life is going to happen for you, because life is really happening for you right here. Life is happening within your actual household. Life is happening within your home. So the dopamine detoxes are good if you're getting your dopamine from bad sources, because that's not good, because now you're abusing your brain a little bit. Where if you actually got it out of wholesome situations, it will enhance you. It'll actually optimize who you are as a person. So I think it's important to do that, but also flip all of your coins over. Everything doesn't have to be this bad, awful thing. If some of the things you find yourself doing a lot bring you some sort of whatever, turn that into something. As a professional blunt roller, I'm living proof that some things that somebody looks at you and says, what are you going to do with that? Well, a lot. I'm going to do a lot with it. Or like, if you're constantly on the internet researching stuff and you're flipping through stuff, start a meme page. You finding all this funny shit. Take all of those and repost them on a page. Grow that page and then get advertising on that page and make that your life. The other thing that the conversation earlier that we talked about led to was, not every job is pretty. So if you right now somebody who's addicted to their phone because they're really trying to make that be their job, some of that is like, yo, chill. But most of that is, they have been shown over and over and over again that you can actually have a career off of creating content for the internet. So if you actually stick to it, it will get you somewhere. You will grow your page to a certain place. And then from there, you can actually now get brand sponsorships. People can give you checks. And now you actually are bringing bread in off of your social media addiction or hard work, workaholic. How come workaholic has a way better, ring to it than you're addicted to your phone? Like I was saying earlier, like the guy who used to work in the coal mine back in the day, that wasn't a pretty job. Like, he's abusing himself. He's totally abusing his body. He's hurting himself to bring a check home. So yeah, I'm sorry if your wife or your husband or your kid is addicted to their phone and like you see them not eating, not going outside, not getting sunshine. But if it's actually getting them somewhere, maybe be a little bit more encouraging, and then, take their camera outside for them. Let them film outside like I'm doing right now. Like you can kind of achieve a good little balance in the middle of it. But, hard work is hard work regardless of what it looks like to somebody else. If it's hard on someone, it's hard. But I don't want people to label themselves as addicts constantly. Like, that doesn't mean you don't need to stop doing what you're doing. That just means if you can get ahead of it and you're not hurting, yourself or others, just step ahead of it. Get ahead of it and then just stop that shit before it gets to a place where now you're like, I'm crashing into cars because I can't stop scrolling through my phone, which actually happens. Motherfuckers is texting and can't drive. Now you're bugging. But I think people don't realize how fragile life is too, because they live on the internet where you can just respawn your shit. You don't realize, like, nah, bruh, you would just really die and then be gone. So I think the reality dating shows are interesting because they've kind of like always been around, because I think it's good for people who are in relationships and people that are not in relationships to see how other people behave in relationships. I think it gives you like points of references to kind of maybe see your own behavior, maybe check your own behavior a little bit and be like, oh, nah, that doesn't look good. And this is how I treat my spouse. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Or wow, look at how nice this made somebody feel. I should do more of that. I think those things are good. I think reality TV is good for giving you examples. I think it's good, like, people watching, if you're absorbing it the right way and processing it the right way. But I think the concept of the show Love is Blind is interesting, because while you're getting them to like get to know each other off their voices alone and then like pick people, you're putting people in these like hyper connection modes, which isn't how life happens. You're not making that many connections at the same time. So I don't think I think that's an unhealthy part of it. I think that's mad wild. But at the end of the day, I think it is cute to see these situations where the spirit is the spirit. And once again, this ties right back into that whole thing of like, what if your spouse cuts their hair? It doesn't matter. Who are you connected to? Who is the soul? What is the soul connected to? Is it two spirits intertwined to create and leave a legacy on the planet? Because what is in fact partnership? You are agreeing that when I leave this planet and you leave this planet, this is the branch we're going to leave here. Like, as this leaf drops off of this tree, a new leaf will grow off the same tree, right? So as these flowers pollinate with each other, that's how they grow. So you're choosing how you leave your legacy and what you leave your legacy with. And I think that's deeper than hairdos or physical appearances and things like that. I think that is truly your spirit and another spirit deciding to merge into one spirit, that now literally, when partnerships are actually considered, you are literally going to become one person in your children. Like, I am literally my parents' soul tie walking around. I'm 50% my dad and I'm 50% my mom. I am my parents' legacy. I am what they created. I am what they decided their love is going to look like. Me, my sister, and my brother. My sister is their love. I'm their love. My brother is their love. You are your parents' love walking around. Or if it wasn't love or whatever it was, it's still a legacy and a moment for this big bang of a coincidental or perfectly chaotic situation to boom together and now you're a thing. Because some of it's not always just this choosy love thing. People have come to the planet in all sorts of ways, maybe some not so pretty, but in the same way that the flower is pollinated by the bees. Sometimes things just have to happen and you still belong here. Right? You're here. You are experiencing all of this. You're taking it in, whether through your eyes, whether through your ears, whether through your feeling, whether through just, whether even if you're locked up in solitary confinement, God bless your soul, you are still experiencing life. Your spirit is still in that shell experiencing it. So the spirits coming together, I think that's a good thing. Not to make that show mad deep, because I totally stopped talking about Love is Blind for a second there. But I think it's cute to see it happen. And then it's also on the flip side of that, like how you mentioned the one couple where the girl completely flipped shit on him, like kissed the other homie, didn't show all types of, I've seen that one clip with you or whatever, but so I haven't seen the end of that show to know how it ended, but I know she did some mad wild shit. But that then shows you that there is shout outs to Uncut, my brother, artist extraordinaire, protect your heart. He always says, too many humans, not enough souls, right? That's when it's like, yo, you're really, shorty, you're an avatar. You are an AI. You not really real in there. You just programmed, talking, saying what you think sounds good. Like a lot of people that just say anything. Like you would just say anything. You would say anything. But that also is partial the fault of Marshall. All right? Because why you can't feel, right? Because you're so eager, and this is how people get lost. This is how people of the world, the lost people, get found by the bad people. This is how people end up in bad cults and, you know what I'm saying, like weird situations, bad relationships, bad whatever, because you so thirsty. You so thirsty to be told something. You're so thirsty to hear something. You're so thirsty to feel something that you will take anything you're given, which is whack, which you shouldn't do. Because if you weren't given nothing, back to that solitary confinement, if you had nothing, no outside nothing, you should know in your heart and your spirit and your soul that you're good. Why should you know that you're good? I'm not just going to tell you. I'm going to give you why you should know you're good. Because you are a miracle. You are literally your dad and your mom's one little second of a situation. This nano particle magical thing happens and now you're walking around. Now you're thinking. Now you're even listening. If you can hear me, you're thinking, and you are what? This little egg and this little sperm that just now has feelings, thoughts, electrical waves going through their brain and memories and kindness and could be mean to someone and could end up the greatest person ever or could end up the worst human ever. Like, you're here. You're here. You get to experience this thing. So you don't really need nothing outside of you to ever remember how magical this whole shit is. All this shit magical, all this shit magical, all this shit radical, all this shit radical. All this shit's magical. All this shit's radical. That's not a lie. That's real. It really is. And when you realize that it's all magical or it's all a miracle that you are here, now you're not seeking anything. Now you're not thirsty. So once again, partial, the fault of Marshall, because you should have not been so thirsty and you should have really checked the situation because a lot of times too, as we're watching from the outside and we're fishbowling it, you see all of those signs where you go, she don't fuck with you. Ooh, she don't fuck with you. Or, oh, homie is not feeling you, shorty. You gassing it. It's clear. How come you're not seeing it? Because you're so eager to trick yourself into what you want to believe that you're willing to manipulate facts. You're willing to not just maybe manipulate facts. You're willing to act like you didn't see a bunch of stuff. I didn't see him make that face, or I wasn't looking hard enough. I was so caught up in my own little brain of everything is so good. Just giggle face, squinty eye. You're not even looking at homie. Like, it's a one couple on that show where the girl is so like, just squinty eye, giggly face. Giggly face, squinty eye. You're just happy. You're just smiling so big. Your cheeks have closed your eyes. And you can't, like, you literally can't even see what's going on. You know, like, you're literally just I love him. Girl, stop. Look at him. Just look at him real quick. You can squint as much as you want to, but you got to still peek a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can't all the way just be looking at the sky, just ha ha ha. No, you're going to miss the signs. You're going to miss the cues. You're going to miss where you should have been like, this is whack. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, but yeah, Love is Blind. Is it really? I don't know. To some it is, but I think to those people it would have been blind anyway. I don't think they need that show. You know what I mean? But shout outs to them too. Motherfucking reality show and ex-boy band producer extraordinaire couple. They're doing their thing. Shout outs to finding your partner who actually will like rock with you with whatever you're down for. That's what's up. There you go. That love was blind. And paid. That love is paid now. They're doing good. Oh, yeah. So Levi was talking about AIs taking their models and being able to sell this stuff. So, yep, I think whatever you did that in some capacity cost money, it's over for you, cousin. Even like influencers right now. Because once they start promoting enough AI versions of all of these things and people are going there and they're getting the attention and it gets the job done, because ultimately, what is advertising and marketing besides getting the job done? You just need to get the job done. You need to get that. You need to get somebody to get the sale. Dollars, bottom line is dollars. We're trying to make sales here. So ultimately, if I got to pay the models to fly in for the fashion show, or I got to fly them in for the shoot, or I got to do X, Y, and Z, and I got to do all of this stuff, that all costs money. That's all like bottom line for a marketing budget. That's all bottom line for any corporation. Like, so if I can now, all right, I got my adhesive. I'm about to put that online for sale. Buy that shit. Right? If I do that, if I can get AI generated XYZ to get all of my sales, and I don't need to pay for this or pay for that or pay for all these models, and I can just go to one place and do it. If it saves money, it's the move, which is why you still need a human, though, to do open heart surgery. I mean, there's robots that do a lot of surgical stuff now, too, but there's still certain things where you need a person to do them, you know? You still need a person to hold a baby at the NICU. You still need a human being to love a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, lack of love will kill you. You can't get love out of a computer. Once your mind is developed and now you can build a relationship with the computer, sure, y'all could email each other every day and feel like this is my boo or something. There's all that happening in the world, too, where people, like, subscribe to a relationship online. You know what I'm saying? I've heard of that. So okay, you could, but you still need to get to 5. You still need some type of holla, bro. You still need somebody to hold you, at least for them couple of first days. So that can't be replaced. You know, that love, that actual physical touch can't be replaced. You would also have to cover them AI robots with a bunch of the right bacteria and shit like that you get from people. Like, there's certain things you cannot do. But I feel like everything else that we do as a skill, once you can upload it, like any textbook, you could upload it, right? But you would still need a good professor to be able to look at a room and be able to talk to every student one-on-one at the same time. You still need, because at the end of the day, you're not going to look at that AI and respect it. Respect comes from life experiences, and respect comes from me looking at you and saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did whatever. So, like, you know, could AIs replace all the new little models coming in? Yeah. But is Naomi Campbell still going to get her check? Yeah, for sure. Like, is Kate Moss still going to get that bag? Is Giselle Bundchen or Cindy Crawford still going to get that bag? Yeah, they're still going to get the bag because they're still iconic, whatever they are. But, like, if you was, like, a new person who's like, I'm going to get into print ads, well, that's probably over. Because also, here's on the other flip side, as much as I'd like the humans to keep their jobs, a lot of these jobs are bad for the environment. So if you could make a lot of these jobs be digital, where now you know how many airplane rides you can stop if people worked online and a lot of these things were digitally done? Like, most of the plane rides taken every day, the flights booked, are business flights. If you could automate a lot of, I don't want these people to not have jobs, but we are ruining our planet by taking all them airplane rides. Also, like, a lot of the other stuff, like the factories and a lot of these other things, they're awful. They're not sustainable products even to begin with. So, I don't want models to just go away. I'd like a lot of these things to go away because they're bad for the environment. They're bad for the world. Like, instead of spending all that money on Fashion Week, we should spend all that money on feeding the kids, making schools, supporting families all over the world. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. You know? You feel me? So for me, I feel like that's just where it's at. So, you know, once again, twofold. Like, all right, Levi's is trying to save some bread and also wants to be with the new times and wants to, you know, because a lot of these things are buzzwords too. Like, Levi's wouldn't be able to be on every single platform to be even talked about if they weren't going AI. So some of this is also you milking the media because you know these are buzzwords and these are things that are going to get people to talk about you, right? But simultaneously, okay, bet, if you don't want to fly all those models all the way out here and all the way out there, you don't want to pay the photographer, you don't want to do this, okay, bet, do that. Do whatever you got to do because at the end of the day, it's about your bottom dollar. But this is why people also got to chill with the AIs. Like, what's up? You want to have them take all the jobs? I went into a coffee place yesterday. There was nobody at the counter. I had to place my own order. I couldn't even swindle like I normally do and be like, hey, can I get an extra caramel swirl, please? Because you need a person there for that to happen. But businesses don't care because that's exactly what they're trying to prevent. That person being a little too nice and giving away one extra little caramel swirl that costs them 1 cent. Because that 1 cent matters at the end of the day. You're talking about 1 cent out of one store and you got 1,000 stores. That's 1,000 cents. You know what I mean? That's $10 per hour that you're saving. Oh, add that up over time. Boom, that adds up. So fuck this shit. Because they don't give a fuck about you anyway. So at the end of the day, it's their bottom dollar. So you wanna really like shut this shit down? Stop buying Levi's. I mean, no, buy Levi's, but I'm saying, like, stop supporting you're in the system. You can't complain about the system you are absolutely a part of. You can't be online commenting under this, like, it's messed up that they're taking your jobs and models, but you're commenting under the platform of like the computer. You're yelling at the computer about the computer. It's like going into the courthouse and yelling about the prosecutor to the judge. Bro, they work together. These people go to lunch together. You're complaining to the wrong people. So you want models to do their model shit? All right. Levi's been around long enough, haven't they? Don't we need another one? Where's the new jean company at? Where are they at? Denim didn't stop getting made. Oh, they're the only ones that know how to make good denim? How to make it. Make better denim. And now you hire humans. You don't like it? Do something about it. All around. So that'd be my answers. It'd be a lot of, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I could tell you some shit, but, you know, if you heard it, I said it. If you heard it, I said it, you know. But if you didn't hear, it's like a dog whistle. If you're not a dog, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But if you a dog, you definitely heard that ad-lib track that was playing underneath what I said. Yeah, so, you know, fuck them, basically. If they don't want you, find somebody that does. Yeah. You got to chill with the yittity, huh? Rest in peace, Pops. One of the best shows ever, Wayans Brothers. Shout out to the entire Wayans family. Can we take a moment for the excellency that is the Wayans family? And rest in peace to their dad, their patriarch. He passed away recently. Their mother, I believe, passed away too. Shout outs to the whole family, man. Everybody. My favorite out of they're all legends, but the funniest to me out of everybody is Marlon, hands down. Like, Marlon got it. Oh my God, he got it. He's got it. God bless his soul. God bless his heart. And I hope he just, right now, I don't even know how this turned into a message for Marlon Wayans, but if you hear me, go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Don't let nothing stop you right now, because you have to go hard, right? So just go hard. And God bless your whole family. So shout outs to the Wayans for sure. Yeah. Yittity. Well, that's Witherspoon, but it was because of y'all that I keep saying yittity. So shout outs to John Witherspoon too. But yeah. It's good stuff. I almost got teary-eyed thinking about the family passing. Because family's so important, yo. Family's so important. Also, the medical field is important. That's my last little bit before I get up out of here. Shout outs to medical staff. Shout outs to the nurses. Shout outs to the ICU. Shout outs to surgeons. Shout outs to everyone who is making sure people survive and are taken care of. Yeah, big shout outs to family. Big shout outs to anybody who has lost somebody recently, because grieving is whack. The same way, like if a pregnant woman was sitting with us right now, we're all sitting with that baby, but the baby is functioning in a completely different realm. In water, can't see us. You know, it knows we're out there. The baby isn't even breathing the same air as us. It's going through an umbilical cord and things like that, right? So there's so many differences as far as the existence, but we're all in the same realm. I believe we're all in the pregnant belly, and all of our people that are gone are just kind of outside this belly right now, waiting for us, you know what I'm saying, to go hit their realm. So, yep, that's it. Go hard, Marlon. Go hard, Marlon. Go hard, Marlon. That's it. Go hard, everybody. Anybody that feels like Marlon or myself or anybody else out there, just go hard. So I love you. Ranagade Show, fighting tears. Love you, you know what I'm saying? Go hard. Powered by Shine and Jam. Let's go. Mwah. Bye. We're out.